Why should you buy a home now rather than wait until next year? Hi, I'm Rosario with the Veronica Encinas team at Coldwell Banker Realty. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why I bought my homes and why now may be a good time to buy yours. Now, we bought our first home in the late 1990s, and we bought it for our dog. Lucky Dog was probably about 10 pounds wet, and we thought he needed a yard, so we bought a house with a yard, and he loved it. And a few years later, we bought another home in Aliso Viejo to be close to family and to work, and we bought our current home in Laguna Niguel to meet the needs of our growing family, which apparently is still growing. We're at 3 pets, and 2 kids. Notice, despite my working in real estate, having an econ degree from Stanford, go Cardinal, and some background in accounting, no time did I mention interest rates, mortgage rates, inflation, prices, yada, yada, yada. That's because people buy homes primarily for personal, non-financial reasons. And I'm going to cover the economic reasons why this might be a good time to buy for you. Just know that economics are rarely the reason buyers tell us as to why they're buying. And it's probably not your top reason. We've had clients buy homes to grow their family, to downsize, to move closer to work. And even in pre-COVID days, we had clients buy homes just to have a quiet and peaceful space of their own. So let's cover the economics of why it's a good time to buy a home, to clear the air so that you can focus on your primary reason for buying. There are 3 main financial benefits to buying a home: tax benefits, amortization, and appreciation. Now, we'll have a separate video on the tax benefits of home ownership, which will hopefully give you something to put you to sleep, but it'll include the interest deductions, property tax deductions, capital gains exclusion, and these benefits don't go away regardless of where prices and interest rates go. So this benefit is here right now. The second benefit is amortization, which is a big worded way of saying you save part of your monthly payment in the form of equity in your home. In other words, as you make payments, the mortgage goes down, and when you sell the home, you can get some of that money back that you paid in. The amortization benefit grows over time. It's present from day one of owning your home. So that leaves us with the third benefit, appreciation. It's the benefit that most people focus on when buying, especially in Orange County, where prices were up over 10% year over year for the last few years. In the last year, prices are still up year over year, between 1% and 2%. But wait a minute, you say, I've heard that prices are down. How can prices possibly be up? You see, I conveniently mentioned year over year numbers. When we report year over year numbers, we're comparing last year this time to this year this time and ignoring everything in between. Well, there was a lot of in between, with prices rising over 10% through May and then falling almost as much since then. If prices continue to fall through the winter months, you'll start seeing reports that prices are down even year over year. And that is when many buyers will get spooked. So, why buy now? One reason is to beat the rush. And what rush, you ask? Well, the rush that will be caused by 4 things happening: inflation going down, interest rates going down with it, supply staying low, and demand increasing. So let's take these one at a time. We'll start with inflation. So we start with inflation because mortgage interest rates tend to go up when inflation goes up, and vice versa. You and I don't have a crystal ball when it comes to these things. But last week, when the consumer price index was reported at 7.7% and the producer price index was reported at 8, both were down off of their highs and were seen as positive signs that inflation could be coming down. The next reports on CPI and PPI will be coming out in mid-December, so we'll keep an eye on them to see if they show a similar trend. If they continue to go down, mortgage interest rates will very likely go down with it. When inflation, for example, when inflation was reported to be down last week, mortgage rates dropped 0.5 percentage points in a single day. Right now, rates are hanging out in like the 6.5% range for the kinds of loans that many of our clients get, high balance loans. That rate isn't enticing enough to bring out shy buyers, but once buyers see that interest rates are at a reasonable level, historically that's usually 5% or less, buyers tend to jump into the market en masse. So here's the problem. When rates are at that reasonable level for buyers, what will there be to buy? The supply of homes has been historically low all year, and that didn't change when the market slowed down this summer and fall. So what happens if there's very little supply and buyers are jumping into the market? Well, we've seen what happens over the last few years. Prices go up, buyer competition gets heated, multiple offers result, and many buyers are left on the sidelines. Am I saying prices are going to go up? Yes, absolutely. When? I don't know when, but I do know that if inflation continues to decrease like it did this month, we could see mortgage rates at about 5% early next year, like say February, 6.5%, 6%, 5.5%, 5%. That sounds about right. We could have a competitive spring for buyers and prices could be rising by then. Hello, appreciation. So why buy now? To get in before the rush, if you are a buyer with a low down payment, a contingent buyer, or just a buyer who doesn't want to face bidding wars again, you can buy a house now under conditions we haven't had for years. And those conditions might be gone by the spring. But I don't want a 6.5% interest rate, you say. You can either work to get that 5% rate now, or you can plan to get it later by refinancing. Well, how do you get it now? Since sellers are negotiable in prices these days, instead of asking for a bigger discount off of the purchase price, ask the seller to pay down your interest rate. If it's $1 million home, for example, and the seller is willing to sell it to you for $980,000, instead of asking the seller to reduce their price, ask them for a $20,000 credit towards buying down your interest rate. Some of these buy downs are permanent, meaning you could have the rate you want, say at about 5% now. Some buy downs are temporary, they last 1, 2, or even 3 years. And as always with these situations, we suggest going to a lender you trust to go over your loan options. Bottom line for you is that now is a time when sellers are willing to negotiate, buyer competition is low, interest rates are moving in your favor, and if you have a personal reason to buy, it may be a better market for you than 6 months from now. Your lucky dog is relying on you to get your next dream home. Thanks for watching. If you want more information on buying your dream home or just want to see pictures of our pets, reach out to us to find out how we can help.